Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
This is a PSA. You can't believe anything you see these days. These glasses aren't even real. Neither is my face. All this stuff was 3D tracked on using these dots that I drew on with this marker. Actually, the marker isn't real either. Neither is the background. Or my face. Have a good night.
Is deepfake getting terrifyingly real? Deepfake software allows users to swap out an image of one person's face with another through artificial intelligence, which were made using the human image synthesis technique, which is known as deepfake. Deepfake is a big deal now, as it can save the media industry hundreds and thousands of dollars, and that is what we are focusing on here today. As cool as deepfake videos can be, this technology also has raised a few concerns. We will talk about them, as we have some crazy examples of deepfake videos. Deepfake technique has gotten better and better with time, and some deepfakes are so convincing that they can be used to distort the truth. Arguably, the biggest danger we face is in politics. Politicians are on camera a lot, and they are often standing straight, in a fixed position, which makes them the easiest subject for deepfake.
Dear people of Belgium, I have the balls to withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement, and so should you. Only blah 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 bing bang boom. You even pollute more than before the agreement.
How would you describe your personality?
A personality, I'm bad and bougie and cute.
You said you what now?
I said I am bad and bougie, and I'm acting like I'm cute, and I'm so.
If you thought the lies and deception and fake media had reached the crown heights of propaganda, think again.
So in what ways has the world gone mad?
Well,
You say we're not allowed, we're not able. Who's the people stopping the conversation? Who are they?
people that work at networks, frankly, like the one I'm speaking on right now.
An entirely new generation of deepfake trickery will aid the Great Reset and the United Nations Agenda 2030.
That's why today I am committing the United States to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. And as long as I am president, and well after I'm done being president, I will keep fighting for the education and housing and healthcare and jobs to reduce inequality and create opportunity here in the United States and around the world.
And we need to recognize that climate change became the main accelerator of all other factors. And as climate change is the main accelerator of all other factors, this is also the moment to clearly say that linked to the 2030 Agenda of Sustainable Development, there must be a very strong reaffirmation of our commitment to the Paris Agreement and to its implementation with an enhanced ambition.
Demonizing, confusing, and controlling the narrative over a still unsuspecting populace.
This is an example of deepfake, a word that combines the terms deep learning and fake. It's an advanced form of artificial intelligence, which can be used to manipulate faces and voices, making the process of creating fake identities and spreading false information much easier. The technology makes things that never happen appear entirely real.
Deepfakes, or realistic-looking fake videos and audio, they're named for the deep learning artificial intelligence algorithms that make them possible. Input real audio or video of a specific person, the more the better, and the software tries to recognize patterns in speech and movement. Introduce a new element like someone else's face or voice, and a deepfake is born.
It's actually extremely easy to make one of these things. There were just some supposed breakthroughs from academic researchers who worked with this particular kind of machine learning in the past few weeks, which would drastically reduce the amount of video you need actually to create one of these.
Programs like FakeApp, the most popular and widely available for making deepfakes, need dozens of hours of human assistance to create a video that looks like this, rather than this. In August, researchers at Carnegie Mellon revealed software that accurately rendered not just facial features, but changing weather patterns and flowers in bloom. This advance is not yet available to the public, but with increasing capability comes increasing concern. In a world where fakes are easy to create, authenticity also becomes easier to deny. Deepfakes do, however, have some positive uses. Take Cereproc, a firm that creates digital voices for people who lose theirs from disease.
Speech synthesis is the artificial production of human speech.
There are also applications that could be considered either good or bad, like the many deepfakes that exist solely to turn as many movies as possible into Nicolas Cage movies.
Oh, hi, Mark.
You may never have heard the term synthetic media, more commonly known as deepfakes, but our military, law enforcement, and intelligence agencies certainly have. They are hyper-realistic video and audio recordings that use artificial intelligence and deep learning to create fake content, or deepfakes.
Now, to drive the point home of how realistic they can make this, check out this video of Tom Cruise playing his guitar. Except it's not really Tom Cruise playing his guitar, it's only Cruise's face superimposed onto that of another actor his size.
You know, I do all my own stunts, obviously. I also do my own music.
This is not Tom Cruise. It's one of a series of hyper-realistic deepfakes of the movie star that began appearing on the video sharing app TikTok earlier this year.
60 Minutes then interviewed a couple of experts on deepfakes.
Political scientist and technology consultant Nina Schick wrote one of the first books on deepfakes. What was your reaction when you first realized this was possible and was going on?
The fact that AI can now be used to make images and video that are fake, that look hyper-realistic, I thought, well, from a disinformation perspective, this is a game changer. Now imagine that technology being expanded out not only to human faces in still images, but also to video, to audio synthesis of people's voices, and that's really where we're heading right now.
The connection I'm seeing from these deepfakes or synthetic media is to the image of the beast that we read about in Revelation 13. Is it the image that's doing the killing, or could that power come from manipulated audio or video?
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time.
Jordan Peele created this fake video of President Obama to demonstrate how easy it is to put words in someone else's mouth. August, researchers at Carnegie Mellon revealed software that accurately rendered not just facial features, but changing weather patterns and flowers in bloom.
Some of its most severe consequences, however, won't be felt by a country or a global leader, but by everyday women. Deepfakes are already being used to make the kind of revenge bomb that was never possible before, one that doesn't exist. As long as you have a photograph of them, you can now make porn videos of pretty much anyone you want.
The second problem with deepfakes are high-tension moments that are delta-dependent on time. Let's use an example the Department of Defense already worries about. Next week, in a small town, a local police force will unintentionally shoot an unarmed black man, and within a few hours, protesters will start to march across the city. Tensions are high, and more police get deployed to monitor the situation. Suddenly, an independent journalist posts a video on Twitter. Caught on cell phone is the mayor. In the video, he dismisses the death and praises the officer's use of force for eradicating the criminal.
Thank God, that criminal needed to die.
The video goes viral almost immediately. A peaceful protest that could have been diffused now switches to an angry riot.
The deception will reach a boiling point, setting the stage for the entrance of totalitarian dictators as humanity is forced under the auspice of a cashless society.
For our society, the benefits are things like less money laundering, less weapons sales, right? Less tax evasion, because all of it's trackable.
Then total surveillance, a global ID, and a carbon credit slave system will bind every individual to the overlords of total technocratic control.
Just breathe. When the moon is full and bright, and children lie awake in fright, beware the beast that lurks the halls to chew you up, bones and all. But do not cry when it draws near, for the beast can smell your fear.
When the subjects of scandals come up, video evidence would generally be the smoking gun. It proves it definitely, right? While deepfakes being able to make changes to a video using state-of-the-art AI, it makes this kind of evidence easy to dismiss. But something gets me on that. Mainly being, are deepfakes really that convincing? It is definitely something apparent to many people. Memes and experimental tests are very flawed. They are frightening because of how almost sort of close it is to being realistic, but they surely aren't, and it's noticeable right away. The fear comes from many places. The main is how it will evolve. It won't fool everyone right away, but 2 papers down the line, who knows? Another fear comes from if others out there already have that improved version of the AI. Google giving experimental prototypes to others or an independent AI created by an exclusive group. And it makes sense, assuming how high regard you put insert group name here and how much work they're willing to put into fooling people. The ability to fool people is worth a lot, and the group may do all they can to achieve that power. Basically, the main idea is that with enough work and effort, a deepfake could be convincing. These memes and experiments are done by casuals generally. Definitely some great ones out there like the Linus Tech Tips review, though even the flaws in that are quite noticeable. But these groups would likely have much more people, so the effort could be done. Film studios have made convincing effects for a very long time. Especially in the case of face swapping, stunt doubles are often used and have actors' face superimposed onto them. It does take work, but the results could very well produce hoaxes and result in amazing realism. The ability to fake film has been around since film has been around. In these cases, it takes context to debunk them, generally why hoaxers will leave as little context as possible. For high-end groups, special effects would be the better option, being that they are tried and true, having been able to fool people in the past. The technology we've had for a very long time. Even casual people can make a convincing hoax. They always have been able to with readily available editing software. And that seems to be where the fear directs to, foreign hoaxes or even internal affairs. I guess it's not much better prospect, but for these examples, they sort of always could fake anything they wanted. There is still, however, that idea that as deepfakes improve, that any random person with a computer could just type a command and press a button and done, you got something to rival the special effects of The Great Gatsby. I think, as we've done before to debunk something, providing context is what matters. Research and investigations to find anything to link these things to, and using that to find holes and contradictions. It's debatable if the idea of the ability to fake things always being around is exactly comforting, but the prospect of deepfakes spark visions of a much more scary future setting. I think something to ask is how scary this current state of the world seems with all this possible. I imagine deepfakes won't change much.
We have a corporate government crime syndicate, public and private sectors, colluding with one another and the media. Our entire world is built on fake images and animation and propaganda and lies.
He lies.
He does that, you know.
People should not be afraid of their governments. By the power of truth, I, while living, have conquered the universe.
The world that we live in today is really just the empire of lies. The self-appointed ruling elites have lied for decades, maybe even centuries, about virtually everything. In more recent times, some of those lies that we were told were some of the biggest lies you could ever wrap your head around. We've been lied to about the assassination of a sitting president, JFK, the circumstances surrounding the death of Princess Di, the causes of wars in Iraq and Syria and Afghanistan, weapons of mass destruction, supposed Islamic terrorists responsible for 9/11, the Obama Red Line in Syria, the Benghazi embassy, the ruthless boogeyman Vladimir Putin just waking up one day deciding to go and conquer Ukraine, totally unprovoked. He's a war criminal, they tell us. While meanwhile, Ukrainian Azov battalion, literal Nazis, shoot innocents trying to flee, recruit non-military fighters, and literally eat opposition soldiers. We've lied to about the actual events of these wars, the ghost of Kyiv, the bombing of maternity wars. And now we're learning in the last couple of days about child organ harvesting that Russian troops just discovered taking place in Ukraine. All for the almighty dollar in the quest for power, control, and status. This is all true. The criminal fake news media tells us lies about a sitting president. And anyone that points out or broadcasts or publishes the truth about any of these things is a far-right shock jock or a white supremacist, an extremist Christian nationalist, or a conspiracy theorist, of course. Major broadcast and cable news networks brainwash and propagandize and program and repeat and gaslight the viewing audience consisting of hundreds of millions of clueless victims, in many cases leading them directly to their death. We aren't conspiracy theorists. No, not at all. And telling big lies isn't new. For the last 2 years, both fake political sides of the aisle have been fighting to own the definition of the term the big lie in an effort to control the narrative and conceal from the public what the big lie actually is. And the big lie is this. We have a corporate government crime syndicate, public and private sectors, colluding with one another and the media. The liars aren't just limited to government and celebrities and psychopaths like Bill Gates and Klaus Schwab and George Soros. The hunger for money and power isn't just limited to the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the Clintons. The cover-ups aren't just limited to the Epsteins and the Weinsteins or the USS Liberty and the criminal banking cabal. No, and let's not pretend that false flags and deepfakes and computer-generated imagery is a new thing or that it doesn't exist at all. Many of you have seen the CGI deepfake featuring Tom Cruise. This thing looks completely real. You would have no idea, unless you look carefully and unless you know the triggers, that this isn't Tom Cruise. There's another one using the face and voice of Morgan Freeman. A whole lot of people have seen this. And there's a whole lot more of them. Every image that you've ever seen taken in from outer space is a CGI. Why? Why can't I just see a picture from the space station? Why can't I just see a picture from the moon or from a satellite? Our entire world is built on fake images and animation and propaganda and lies.